I've been meaning to make a video on this topic, but decided to hold off until there was a possible live stream within the last few weeks before official release, which ended up being the case. Since there was so much feedback and criticism regarding the gacha system, the developers acknowledging all the feedback that was submitted to them, there was a breath of hope that the devs would listen and make the necessary adjustments to their system. Specifically, adding the feature of having our pity carry over to the next banner. Well, we just had the live stream not too long ago and I have a couple of things to say. So from the looks of it, the only new noticeable change that was added to the character gacha compared to how it was in the most recent beta was the urgent recruitment feature, where after 30 pulls, you'll get a free temple to do on the current banner, with a double-edged sword condition that this temple will not count towards your pity counter, but getting the rate up 6 star with this temple will not reset the pity counter towards that rate up 6 star character. As for the weapon banner, they just extended the duration of the banners and brought back the feature to convert early geometries into arsenal tickets. So unfortunately, no pity carryover was added for the limited character banner, and for a lot of gacha players, especially the ones that play the big gacha games and have been conditioned by the 50-50 system and guaranteed pity that could be kept for any banner that came after, this is actually a deal breaker for them. I myself would have liked to have the pity carryover as well, but I'm here to give a different take on the matter. I believe that the whole gacha system that Endfield has cooked up is not as bad as everyone is making it out to be. At face value, we have to look at the system holistically and give judgment based on every other factor that affects the gacha experience. And this is what I want to address that could become real potential problems with Enfield's gacha system. There are two important elements that affect the gacha experience that need to be critically evaluated. It's pointless to have a decently good gacha system if there are barely any pools that could be acquired naturally within a game's patch cycle. Gacha games like Genshin Impact give on average 60 to 70 pools per patch, but the trade-off is that there is only one new character per patch, with the exception of 2 patches per year where they release 2 new characters, one on an anniversary patch and the other one, as of a recent pattern, on the Lantern Rite patch. But these specific patches do increase the pool economy to compensate. HSR and ZZZ offer almost double the amount of pools per patch, but they always release 2 new characters per patch. Wuthering Waves is like a mixture of both. Sometimes they do 2 characters, sometimes 1 character, but just like Genshin, they compensate the pool economy according to how many new characters are being released within that patch. Just a side tangent I want to mention about these games' weapon banner. While the Hoyo Big 3 operates on a 75-25 system, or it does have a 100% system for his weapons, but the trade-off is that the weapon banner has its own currency conversion item, Forging Tides. So whenever Kuro Games gives out free pools, they'll have to give them in the form of Radiant Tides instead of just Astrites. And I'm sure it's not just me that's been in many issues of lacking pool currency to do on the weapons, but the devs just keep giving character pools instead, like, please just give Astrites. Calm. Comparison aside, this is one element of Endfield that we need to assess to determine the balancing act of the gacha system as a whole. However, since we can't do just that yet, we'll have to use the starting amount of pools as a baseline. 40 pools for the beginner banner, 60 pools for standard banner, 12 limited pools plus 5 limited pools exclusive to each of the 3 banners, so 15, a total of 27 limited pools, 4,000 oro barrels, plus 2,000 oro barrels from the 2 redemption codes, amounting to 6,000, which converting gives 12 pools. So this totals up to 139 pools handed down to us, or to better laser it down, 39 pools for the limited banners. A misconception I've seen going around is that the other big gacha games gave the players more pools in the starting patch, but proceeded to refer to the graphs as their point of reference. These graphs showcase how many pools were obtainable throughout the entire patch cycle, something that we have no knowledge about yet in Endfield and can only make an estimated assumption based on beta 2 info, which would be an undervalued estimation because, as shown in the live stream, they increased the oro barrel rewards obtainable from chests and added a weekly content as well, new permanent content to grind for more currency. With that mentioned, the final amount could still end up being less than what the other big titles gave out. I'd find that absolutely hilarious if that turned out to be the case, because whatever amount we'll get in the first patch will definitely be less for subsequent patches. As for how much less, only time will tell, but that's just one element of the gacha system. As for the other one, For the sake of this topic, I'm not going to talk about the weapon banner system, since now you can acquire arsenal tickets via conversion, as well as the weekly mode added. So I believe the biggest issue with the weapon banner has already been solved. Instead, I'm focusing on the characters, since they would obviously be what every gacha player would prioritize first on. In other gacha games, there would be more ways to obtain characters outside of just pulling them on their release banner. These methods would range from frequent reruns, characters being added to the standard banner, characters being added to a special shop, a free gacha system that generally has all the characters of high rarity that players can pull on, a customizable gacha system that lets you pick what high rarity characters you want to rate up, and the most simple one, characters given for free. Now, some gacha games have some of these features on release, while other gacha games gradually implement some of these systems as the game gets older and more high rarity characters start becoming too many to consistently rotate around. With Endfield, limited characters don't go to the standard banner, but once the banner ends, they stay in the limited pool for another 2 banners before they truly leave. We can only pray that reruns would occur frequently, but it does look like Endfield will be like the other group of gacha games that will gradually add more ways of obtaining all the characters down the line. The only question is, how long would we have to wait for that to start happening? So some of you might wonder why I never did any comparisons or mentions of OG Arknights gacha system to Enfield's, since it's from the same company. My sole reasoning is that Arknights, compared to Enfield, is a very cheaply produced gacha game, so the company can get away with being generous with its systems and probably don't have such a high target quota to meet with every single new banner release. Whereas Enfield is operating on a budget that looks to rival that of Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves, but don't really have the same advantages that these two games had. Genshin's being the COVID buff and Wuthering Waves being the first real Genshin competitor as people made it out to be. So overall, I have a few things to say about Infield's gacha system. Number one, the early life cycle of a gacha game tends to have the worst gacha experience, which only slowly improves as the game gets older. I believe Infield will follow down this path. Number two, I believe it's okay to have an initial opinion of Infield's gacha system, regardless if it's positive or negative. But I also believe that we should consider the elements that I mentioned earlier in the video, especially the pool economy, to later on give an absolute opinion. Number three, if you're a player who intends to play this game long term, then this system benefits you. If you're a gacha addict that's too trigger happy with the pull button, you might be severely punished in this game, or absolutely the luckiest player to have existed in this world. And finally, number four, I personally don't mind this gacha system, but if there's one thing I wish could have changed, other than the pretty carryover, it would be either limited banner characters go immediately to standard, or the chance to pull a 6-star would increase to 2%. Like I said, I don't mind the system. I've played a fair number of gacha games for the past 6 years, including OG Arknights. I've actually been more conditioned by the Arknight system than whatever 50-50 system however is popularized. So word of advice to all those who wish to play Infield, and I know this advice won't sound pretty and I don't expect everyone to follow suit. Just don't pull if you don't have 120 pulls stored up. Now I've clearly shown I have a lot of hope for Infield, but if there's one thing you must know about me, is that I love it when I'm wrong and I hate it when I'm right. So if you're someone who wishes to doom post the game or wants to see its downfall or potential disaster, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and check back in a few weeks if this video aged like milk or like wine. Expect more Infield content from me, and I'll see y'all in the next video.